What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P here with another episode of Steelers Touching Under. We are looking at the breaking news over the last few hours. Confirmed reports we heard a few days ago that Arthur Smith from the Atlanta Falcons, previous head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, would be interviewing with the Steelers for the open offensive coordinator position. So I wanted to look at what Arthur Smith brings to the table. Is Arthur Smith the right guy to be the OC for the Steelers? Does it make sense for him to be OC of the Steelers? We're going to cover off that news super quickly. All right, so Arthur Smith, good background on his coaching history for you just quickly. North Carolina, that's where he started out his college coaching career as a graduate assistant. He then went on to the NFL as a defensive quality assistant, spending 2 years with the Washington Redskins, at the time, obviously Washington Commanders now. Was at Ole Miss as a defensive intern, was defensive quality control at Tennessee Titans for 2 years, then moved on to being their offensive line tight ends. That's just an open role there. It's probably more assistant. They haven't actually qualified that. Assistant tight ends coach 2 years after that for 2014 and 15 at the Titans. Then he was the tight ends coach between 2016 and 2018 for the Titans. Then he was the offensive coordinator at the Titans for 2 years. And then when that was under Mike Vrabel, actually, then he got hired as the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. So someone definitely deep in that tight end background, running back background, all of those good things. Now, it's kind of interesting, though, because for me, yes, this is definitely a guy that is experienced. This is a guy that's definitely called plays. We know that he called plays a lot at the Falcons as well. But I kind of sit there and I'm like, is this the quarterback whisperer? Now, maybe if the Steelers are interested in him, perhaps they're not seeing the quarterback as being, the absolute, yes, it's essential in the NFL, but maybe just having this awesome quarterback play is not what they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for a serviceable quarterback. This is why I've talked about what Kenny Pickett brings to the table before, because if you can get him working and being proficient in an NFL offense that actually works, yeah, he might only be a top 12, top 14, best case, top 10 quarterback. But even if that's the case, then the Steelers can keep him cheaper. They're not going to be paying him $60+ million a year under the new deal. So maybe the Steelers are looking at this at a different way to all of us, where we want to all see 30 points plus per game, and they're saying they're not going to do that via the quarterback, or they're going to do it, but the quarterback's not the leading man in that role. But it's important, in fairness to Arthur Smith, to have a look at the rankings, just like we did with Cliff Kingsbury. Got some really good feedback on that video. So why I'm saying that, if you're enjoying this, as you're enjoying it, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit a comment too if you've got an opinion on it. The like button really does help with that algorithm. It's not just something YouTubers say. It helps recommend this video to other Steelers fans that you think would be interested in it. All right. So I look at the passing offense for Arthur Smith, and the best that he has recorded is 21. 21 in the NFL. That is the best result Arthur Smith has had as a head coach or an OC. 21st for passing offense in terms of yards. So, sorry, I lied. 16th in terms of passing yards. He's had 21, 23, 31st, and 22nd. 22nd and 31st, two of his worst years, actually, in the last couple of years, both this year and last year. Touchdowns, 24th and 26th, 22, 23, 25th and 21. At the Titans, he was 8th. So that was when Tannehill was there. But again, he wasn't the head coach there. Regardless of whether he calls plays or not, there's a lot of wider things to go into it as a head coach, as someone that calls plays, as he's had that. Now, he hasn't had the great quarterback that he hasn't had as good quarterback play, you could argue, in Atlanta, but that's part of the decisions that they make as a franchise. Interceptions, he was 25th and 21 in interceptions for a passing offense. Now, in terms of a rushing offense, they were number 9 and number 3 in yards, number 10 and number 15 in TDs. Now, they've got a collective of running backs that they play with. When you think about Tyler Algier, you think about Bijan Robinson, you think about Cordell Patterson. I'm missing out another name as well there. But they've got guys. They definitely go to a wide spread of guys. So that's kind of an interesting thing as well, in that, like, when you look at it compared to the Steelers, Najee Harris in his rookie year had 1,200 yards rushing, 487 in the receiving game. This year, Bijan Robinson had 976 and 487 yards. So Najee Harris rushes for about 225 more, roughly 20% more. They're about the same in terms of receiving game. However, Najee Harris obviously didn't have the open room and took a lot of carries for a rookie. But at the same time, as a Texas Longhorns fan, I know what you can do with Bijan Robinson, and they didn't really use him properly at the start of the season. There's big calls about like how are they using Bijan. Also, in terms of Bijan, like working him into the mix, I understand that as a rookie. But like when you think about Arthur Smith, it's not something that like literally sets you on fire about the offense. It's not something that you see and you go, that's going to be able to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in the playoffs. And we know the Steelers got them handled during the season. That's not going to take on KC or Buffalo or what the Texans are going to be in the next year. It's just not going to do that. So I don't know. This high doesn't really inspire a stack ton of confidence for me. He went 3-7. He went 3 seasons of 7-10 in there, like in the NFC. I don't know. I don't know. It just bemused me. I'm not sure this is the guy. Like, I don't think, as I said in my previous video that came out a couple of days ago, if you didn't catch that, go back and catch that. All right, I looked at how each quarterback fits, the different OCs they're bringing in. We talk about mobility. I talked about Cliff Kingsbury. You want to work the Arthur Smith offense, you're going to have someone that moves around. Kenny Pickett's a mobile quarterback, or is a quarterback with mobility, is how I'd put it, but he's not a mobile quarterback. So at least the Steelers are doing their due diligence. I get that. I think that's a good thing. However, I'm not sure that this is the guy that fixes the problem. But let me know in the comments, do you think Arthur Smith's the right one for the Steelers? And if so, I'd love to know why. Maybe I'm missing something. Looking forward to bringing more content as the weeks roll on and as the Steelers put together their team and their roster to get winning again in 2024. As always, go Steelers.